So today I stand before you as Joshua Young, and I'm no longer wearing my mask. I don't need those masks. And I just want to thank the Trinity program. I want to thank you, Mark Jones. I want to thank you, Liberty Foundation, and everybody that sponsors the Liberty Foundation. I'm just one of the results of your blessings and your giving to this foundation. Hi, my name is Joshua Young, and this is my testimony on how the Lord has blessed me and continues to bless me through the Trinity program, through Mark Jones and the Liberty Foundation. There's no way you can know the magnitude of how much the Trinity program has blessed me. I grew up in a household, first of all, with 3 sisters, a mother, and at some point in time, a grandmother, so it was all women. My mom and my father got a divorce around the age when I was about 8 years old. Well, as my life started going on, I got involved in the gang life. And I'm not talking about this little punk stuff that a lot of these cats nowadays are running around doing. I had put both feet into it, and it just went whatever is whatever. And I told myself, well, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna go all the way with it. Little did I know that I actually wasn't going all the way with it, because that's not truly who I am. You see what I'm saying? But the whole thing was that I was trying to find something to connect to. And when I finally found something to connect to, it seemed like it was the first gang that I joined, and they started calling me lunatic for its own reasons. I used to always listen to nothing but rap artists because I would feel like they were the ones teaching me how to be a man. I mainly used to listen to UGK a lot, Pimp C and Bun B, and I learned from that type of music, I was just learning that, okay, to be a man, you had to sell drugs, you had to get the money, you had to make sure that you have respect no matter what, you get your respect any kind of way. No matter what you have to do, you got to get your respect. It was all about respect. And I got to the point to where I just hated the world. I hated everybody in the world. I hated you, and I don't even know you. And at some point in time, I would think in my head that at some point in time, I was going to try and figure out a way how I could kill every single person in this world. And in my mind, I know it sounds far-fetched, but this is how I was feeling, because I was upset, and I was putting it out at God. And I was like, one day I'm going to figure out a way to blow this whole world up, and then I will kill myself. And then it'd be like a spit in your face, God, that where the earth used to be, it'll be nothing but a black hole, like the black hole I felt inside my heart. And I came home on the 29th of January, 2012, and my wife, her 2 children, and my daughter, my only child, not even a year old, was gone. She took them all, and they left me. And all through my life, there was a thread of abandonment and rejection that constantly threaded through my whole life. And at that moment, I just felt like everything was done. I felt like all the burdens of my past sins, everything I've done, it just came crushing down on me, and I no longer wanted to live. So I barricaded my door. This is what I did. I made out a contract to God, and I said, because now it's 12:53 a.m. on the 30th now in the morning. So it's January 30th, 2012. And it says, on January 30th, 2012, at 12:53 a.m., I, Joshua Terrence Young, chose freely and decide to totally surrender my life to you, Lord God. From this day forward, I choose freely and decide to completely live for your purpose. Signed, your humble and faithful servant, Joshua Terrence Young. And I would put it on my door. I wrote it out and I put it on the wall by my door. And I would say it every single day before I would leave the house, even days when I felt like God wasn't there. I made myself say it. I did that for at least a year straight. And life just started transforming. But I didn't know I still had some of these dark areas inside of me. And it was last year in 2015 where I'm at work, and this is a young man who hangs himself. And it started bubbling up all the things back from 9 years old. And I didn't want to say nothing at work, but I was slowly coming undone. I was living with a lady named Lillian Buss, who works at the Trinity program. She's one of the counselors, one of the, instructors. I was living with her and Bob Buss, and so she's like a mother to me. And so when all this happened, I was telling her about the things that were just bubbling up, the anger and everything that was bothering me, and she told me about the Trinity program. And I told her, I said, Mom, I said, I don't want to go through another counselor, because I've been through many counselors in my life. I said, I don't want to go through another counselor if they can't get to the bottom of this. And she said, Mark Jones, she has a gift. She said, the Lord has gifted him to spiritually discern and can help you get to the root of the spiritual things that's in there. So I was ready to deal with it, and I truly believe that's why the liberation came, because I was ready to deal with whatever it was in there. Even though it was scary, I wanted to find out. And so next thing you know, I start hearing different people, not just in my church, but everywhere. Trinity program. I'm like, what? Even with my homeboys that ran the streets with me, that started going to church with me, he went to the Trinity program, the program right before the one I went to, and he told me, said, Stone, out of anybody, bro, I truly believe that this one will really bless you, man. It'll really help. It was nothing but a blessing from God, man. So I shed some tears, and I just thank God. So I started going to the program, and I mean, not the program, but I started doing the counseling first with Dub, his brother Dub. But little did I know that once I started the first day of the program, where you do most of your deepest digging, Dub was actually the person, he was the facilitator in my small group. And I needed somebody, God knew I was gonna need somebody that I could relate to, that I had already connected to because of the stuff I started digging up and putting out there. And the tough part was, in my group, it was nothing but women. And one of the women looked like exactly like one of the women I had did something bad to in the past. And I was scared to share anything. And I was like, God, man, this is crazy, man. But Dub, just that connection with him and his spiritual discernment and just being sensitive to the spirit. He read my paper and the different things I put on there. It was just a blessing to have him. And then I went home that night, I slept peacefully, even though there was a violent storm that happened outside. I slept peacefully. And the next day is when I got my biggest breakthrough. It was something that Dub had told me through my counseling, but then he said it again when I decided to open up and share a little bit about what I wrote on the paper on the first day. And as I started sharing, he had told me about a story about a man named Paul in the Bible, about how Paul was a Christian killer, and how it just says that he probably was responsible for like mass murder of Christians. But God forgave this man, and he used him. He used him to go back and change people's lives. And it gave me so much hope that God could take somebody like me, feeling like I'm not trying to be in comparison with anybody about being the worst, but in myself, I feel like I was the worst kind of person towards people, but God would turn around and somehow use these things for my good, and that he would show me his grace and use me to bless other people. And so even standing here before you in front of this camera, I still see the manifestation of God's love and grace. And by that third day, man, it was just beautiful, man. I put my whole self into it. And I would just encourage anybody that's going through this program to put yourself into it completely. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Because as you do, there's different things that we try and put in our lives, our mask that we put on to try and cover up the hurts from our past, from our childhood, different things. But the thing is, if you don't put yourself all the way in, then you can't figure out how to get back to that little child and bring that child out and be that true person who you've been meant to be, and no longer have to wear those masks. So today I stand before you as Joshua Young, and I'm no longer wearing my mask. I don't need those masks. And I just want to thank the Trinity program. I want to thank you, Mark Jones. I want to thank you, Liberty Foundation, and everybody that sponsors the Liberty Foundation. I'm just one of the results of your blessings and your giving to this foundation.